to feel myself again took about 2 years. So once I'd finished my last chemo, it took me about 2 years because I was so tired and so slow, and I still had a very heavy feeling in my body, like a lead weight. And all of a sudden I woke up and it had gone. So it was 2 years to feel normal again.
It probably took me about 6 months or so to slowly get back to normal. Although you think that it doesn't take a toll, I think even if it's not all physical, I think that emotionally it does take a toll. And it's about resetting and saying, okay, what needs to be different, or am I different from this? So for me, a lot is about what have you learned from this, right? Because I always think that this is meant to teach you something, So it's about what have you learned, and taking the learnings from that and moving forward. So I think that, but it does take time.
Often with the breast cancer, they often talk about a new normal and getting a new normal. And it's really hard when you're first diagnosed to know what this new normal looks like. And in fact, you actually don't like the new normal at all. And I guess I was fighting against it a bit. I actually took 4 months off work. I didn't have chemotherapy, so it wasn't like I sort of had any other treatment that would prevent me going to work. But I just needed that space to get myself on top of things again. And work was really supportive of me when I came back. But I just had that nagging voice in my head that, the cancer may come back, the fears. And that probably lasted about 18 months.
In some ways, no, life has gone back to normal. I feel the usual person that I am. But in other ways, I think I don't like to focus on the negatives. I think that's a waste of time and energy. And I do feel a little bit more urgency of, I really don't know how, I might live till I'm 100, but I might not. And while I'm fit and healthy, I want to do as much as I can, and I want to feed our children with all of the values and knowledge and things that I think they need later on in life, which hopefully I will be there. But in case I'm not, I want them to remember those things and dancing around the house as well and having fun.
Well, mental health, it's this, it's the worry. Is it going to come back or not? I mean, it's always in your mind, the back of the mind, and that eventually brings you real down. I was on these tablets, not antidepressants or anything, some kind of, and then I said, nah, I want to feel emotions, like, you know what I mean? So I stopped those. And nowadays I get a bit teary sometimes, but I'm okay. And now with the grandkids and that, socially, I think I could do better. I can't be bothered. I've put on weight, and then I go, I'm gonna lose some weight, and then I said, I mean, I'm 60. Hello, I might have a few kilos over, but I really don't care.
So working with my treatment I was very fortunate that I had a job where it was a casual job. My boss was terrific. So if I could come in, I would go in. And if I couldn't, then I wouldn't be able to work. They were very understanding. I'd been there quite a long time. And on my good days, I'd go in and I had about 5 different wigs. And I worked with a lot of young people. So we'd all have fun with the wigs, and I'd be hot and I'd take my wig off. And it was... I was very fortunate that I worked in my job that I had at that time with the group of people, because it was terrific.
How it's changed me is the inwards focus, and it's more, I think it's more emotional and spiritual rather than physical. It's about being more content rather than being looking for the next thing or the next bigger, better thing. So it's letting that go and being content and satisfied with what you have now.
One of the things I ended up doing, and it was on the advice of my oncologist, I ended up seeing a psychologist, and she did specialise in oncology. And it was really great just to have someone to talk to who understood the process, who wasn't going to give you any platitudes. She was able to help me talk through some issues, so a lot of fears that I had. about, would it come back? I know that it had been cut out, but would it come back? Would I survive the 5 years? What did 5 years look like? Would I be able to get back to work? I wasn't actually sure at one stage whether I was going to have to look for a different job. And she was really helpful in getting that. I think one of the things that she pointed out, or I was able to see, was that there was no fault. I didn't get breast cancer because really anything that I did. That we just live in a random and chaotic world where random and chaotic things happen. And that was really helpful for me. It became a motto, a mantra for me. We live in a random and chaotic world. And that helped me accept, I guess, the diagnosis and accept that it had just happened to me. It was just dumb bad luck. And I could choose to live into this fear, or I could choose to make steps and try and make sort of a new type of normal life.